Now listen, 32. So listen up. I miss Obama. And I miss her husband too. I want you all to know we are here right now as your congressional delegation dealing with one of the more outrageous periods of American history. Every day we watch Republicans in Congress show an advanced form of yoga in how they bend over backwards to do everything Donald Trump wants them to do. Just 10 months in office and Donald Trump has made himself and his family over $5 billion in corrupt schemes. Meanwhile, he has attacked the bedrock programs that working people have paid into and earned. He's attacked our health care. He's attacked our Medicaid. He's attacked our feeding programs like Meals on Wheels and SNAP. And worst of all, he's attacked our shared values with masked people jumping out of unmarked cars and going into our churches, our hospitals, our schools. And so this is one of those moments. It's a rare one for our state, where this election has become about something so much bigger. We have an extraordinary candidate who literally, as much as they attack her, she lives those ideals. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like the very dust, I rise. And when you're a helicopter pilot, you really know how to get up and rise. And she is running against someone that says they are 100% MAGA. Well, you see what Donald Trump has done to New Jersey. Our grocery prices are up. Our health care costs are up. Our energy and heating costs are up. He's attacking our programs for our communities. He's attacking our public schools. He's attacking our infrastructure projects. And so this election is about defending New Jersey from Donald Trump and his minions. This election is about standing up for our neighbors. It's about standing up for our public schools. It's about standing up for union jobs. And here is the truth. All over the United States right now, people will be watching New Jersey. Because there's a farmer in South Dakota who's been kneecapped by a president and his terrible tariff policies, and after 5 generations, they're going to lose their farm. They're looking at New Jersey because in Chicago, there's a mom who had her kids tear gassed and put in zip ties. They're looking at New Jersey now because in Washington State, there's a mother who is looking at her health care bills and now realizes that she's not going to be able to keep her health care if her child is going to have it themselves. All over the United States of America, people are looking at New Jersey. And I will tell you right now, we are the people of hope. We are the light that's rising. We are the North Star. When we vote, we win. When we vote, America wins. When we vote, we send a message that Donald Trump is on the way out and democracy is on the way in. Thank you. God bless you. Get out the vote. The best congressional delegation in all of America. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias.
Ross Baraka, you bring out Cory Booker. How do you follow that? Let's remember that today we're seeing not just superstars, but also locals and especially local artists in an era when the arts are under attack by the other side. I'm so happy to welcome more of the people making great art in New Jersey, specifically right here in Newark. Please welcome the Weequahic High School Marching Band.
Oh, it's so nasty. It's so nasty.
vibes in this room are great, everybody. Hello to all the people back here. Hello, everybody. We're feeling it now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We've had some absolute killer speakers out here. We're going to keep that going. I also, just on a personal note, want to say my wife and son finally got in. Hello, Hallie and Cal. I want to say hello to you. And I'm not trying to be weird in saying this. I have no interest in being a part of this so I can rub elbows with fancy people backstage. I want to do my part because I bet I'm not the only parent in this room who feels like we got to fight this fight because it's a better state for our kids when we win on Tuesday. It's why so many of us are here. I wanted to take a moment, as someone whose background is as a comedian, I feel like I have the freedom to say something politicians can't say, which is, can we just admit, the other side's real weird, man. They're real weird. And we got to talk about that. Mikey comes off as what? A professional and competent politician who can get things done on our behalf. The other side, weird, weird, weird. I don't know if you watched the first debate. I go, on one hand, you got Mikie Sherrill, who recognizes Jersey as a great education state, who sees how hard our teachers work, who wants to support them. And on the other side, you got Jack. Did anyone else see that weird mumbly answer where he's like, I don't think integration is it? I was like, we're talking... Like I was like, I don't even know what you mean, and I can't believe you're bringing this up in 2025 in New Jersey. Weird, weird, weird. On one hand, you have Mikie Sherrill, who I just saw backstage, and this is not a joke. Mikie Sherrill is so ready to get nerdy about policy with any of us that I saw her, said hello, asked a question. She sat down with me and started explaining stuff about policy to the point where, no joke, I had to be like, you can explain this to me on Wednesday. You have stuff to do. You can explain policy to me individually after you're governor. What are you doing? I've had the pleasure of talking to Mikey. If you ever want to have joy in your life, if you ever run into Mikie Sherrill, ask her about the Gateway Tunnel, watch her eyes light up, and watch her get nerdy about trains. Watch it happen. It's our economy and it's our safety. Meanwhile, the same week Trump said he was going to terminate funding to the Gateway, Jack gave Trump an A for a failing tunnel. It's weird. It's dark. It's weird. I said it before, I'll say it again. One of the weirdest things, a candidate who has sponsored legislation to ban cursing in New Jersey. Weird. And on the other side, you got Mikie Sherrill, a candidate we all know is willing to roll up her sleeves, say your bills have gotten too high, it's bullshit, let's fix it. Let's do it. They're weird, man. It's weird. We got to talk about it. It's not about me, though. It's about our speakers, and we have even more incredible speakers coming down the pike at you. I am so thrilled and honored to welcome your next speaker. He is not just a state senator. He is also the campaign chair of this campaign. Please welcome State Senator Vin Gopal.
Thank you. Hello, New Jersey Democrats. What a great day, and we are almost there. We've had a lot of elections come and go, and we've often heard that this is going to be the most important election. But we have two candidates running this year where it is not gray, it's black and white. There are very clear differences. When we wake up on Wednesday morning, the entire country is going to watch to see what happened here in New Jersey. They're going to watch and see, is New Jersey leading the way and standing up? Every political pundit who knows what they're talking about and those who have no idea what they're going to talk about are going to look to this election here in New Jersey. And they're going to look and see, as we go to the congressional elections next year, did New Jersey do the right thing for democracy? You have two candidates. You have someone who has dedicated her entire life to public service, military, prosecutor, mother of four. And then you have someone on the other side who has literally been running for office for the last 40 years. Jack Ciattarelli has been running for governor for the last decade. He is committed that if he wins this election, if he gets elected on Tuesday, the next 2 Supreme Court seats, he wants to make it just like what Donald Trump did at the federal level. His senior advisor said one of the first things Jack is going to do is end marriage equality in the state of New Jersey. And Jack Ciattarelli is committed publicly multiple times to create a statewide voucher system that's going to destroy our public schools like we know it. He's voted against Superstorm Sandy relief 3 times. This election couldn't have a clearer contract. You're out here today, you're grabbing your friends, you're grabbing your neighbors, you're doing everything you possibly can. We need to have no regrets Tuesday night. We need to make sure that we send a signal to the entire country and the entire world that New Jersey is going to correct the course that we've been on in the past year, and we're going to make sure Mikie Sherrill is the next governor of New Jersey. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for what you continue to do. Thank you for what you're going to do in the next 48 hours. On Wednesday morning, we will all turn around. We'll look to our friends. We'll look to our neighbors, and we will say, New Jersey is leading the revolution here in America. Thank you so much.
Hello, New Jersey! Thank you for being here. Look, so many good friends tonight. Chairman Leroy Jones, let's hear it for Chairman Jones. Let's hear it for Mayor Raz Baraka. And you'll hear in a moment from 2 great friends of yours and mine, Governor Phil Murphy and First Lady Tammy Murphy. Now look, my name is Ken Martin, and I am the chair of the Democratic National Committee, and my job is plain and simple. It's to make sure that Jack Ciattarelli never sets 1 foot in the governor's office in Trenton. Now look, I think Ray Charles had it right when he said, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more. Now look, I've done a lot of special things in politics, but I've never had the honor of saying this before, that I get to be President Obama's opening act. Amazing that. It's not bad company to keep. But look, when Barack Obama comes to town, we show up. We show up because we know what's at stake. We show up because we believe in something bigger, in decency, in democracy, and in the idea that everyone deserves a fair shot. A shot at not just getting by, but getting ahead. And on Tuesday, New Jersey, we're going to show up again. We're going to show up again to elect Mikie Sherrill as the next governor of New Jersey. Now look, yes, that's right. Now look, I'll be honest with you. I'm jealous of all of you. I don't live here. I don't get to vote. Because not only do you get to vote for Mikie, one of the toughest, smartest, most effective Democrats in the country, you also get to send a message loud and clear to Donald Trump and his little MAGA sidekick, Jack Ciattarelli. Now let's talk about Jack for a second. Let's talk about Jack for a second. This guy has spent more time kissing Donald Trump's ass than standing up for the people of New Jersey. Every time Donald Trump does something outrageous, Jack's there. nodding along like a bobblehead on the dashboard of a pickup. When Trump attacks unions, Jack says nothing. When Trump guts food assistance, Jack applauds. When Donald Trump threatens to cut funding for the Gateway Tunnel, Jack calls it not a New Jersey issue. Not a New Jersey issue? Are you kidding me, Jack? I mean, tell that to the thousands of union workers like me whose jobs depend on that tunnel. Now, look, Trump and Sherrill are two sides of the same bad penny. Arrogant, out of touch, and obsessed with helping the rich while everyone pays the price. I want you to think about this for a moment. Look no further than Trump's big announcement yesterday. It wasn't about helping families. It wasn't about helping families afford groceries or health care costs. No, he bragged about remodeling the White House bathroom with luxury marble. Marble bathrooms for Trump, empty fridges for families. Ballrooms for billionaires, layoffs for everybody else. That's what we're dealing with right now. The only jobs the president, hey, listen, the only job the president seems to be creating right now are those construction jobs tearing down the White House, right? And look, Jack Sherrill gave this guy an A grade. An A grade. An A for Trump. You know what? And I'm sorry, all you young people, close your ears on this, but the only A these two deserve is A for assholes, because you know what? They care, yes, that's right. They care more about power and privilege than people. They care more about their rich billionaire friends than working people here in New Jersey, and make no mistake about it. So look, when Jack Sherrill says he's an independent, don't buy it. He's not an independent, he's a lapdog. He'll take his marching orders straight from Mar-a-Lago. That's not what New Jersey needs, and that's not what New Jersey wants. Because New Jersey doesn't follow, New Jersey leads. You lead with grits, you lead with heart, you lead with courage, and yes, New Jersey will lead with Mikie Sherrill when she wins on Tuesday. Look, let's talk about what's at stake real quick. Trump and Jack's agenda would raise your electric bills. It would cut your health care, and it would risk millions of construction jobs. Is that what they call freedom? No. I call it failure. Failure. Meanwhile, Mikie's agenda is crystal clear. Lower costs, create good union jobs, protect women's rights and voting rights, and make sure that every child, every single child here in New Jersey, no matter their zip code, has a chance to actually thrive and get ahead. That's the difference. Jack Sherrill wants to take us backward. Mikie Sherrill will take us forward. So New Jersey, we've got 4 days left. 4 days to knock on doors. 4 days to talk to your neighbors. 4 days to prove that when you come after the hardworking people of New Jersey, you lose every single time. It is time. It is time, New Jersey, to leave everything on the field, to send a message to Trump and Sherrill and every MAGA extremist trying to drag this country backwards. You can build your marble bathrooms, you can build your gaudy ballrooms, but the people of New Jersey, we're building the future. We are building the future with Mikie Sherrill. So look, let's do it. Let's fight. Let's get out there and organize. Let's turn out the vote. And I want President Obama and Mikie Sherrill to hear how fired up you are. So New Jersey, when I say, are you fired up, I want to hear you say, you're ready to win. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? Are you fired up? Let's get this done, New Jersey!
Great state with many years of incredible public service. Please welcome Governor Phil Murphy and First Lady Tammy Murphy.
Well, good evening, everybody. I don't know, it really feels like a typical Saturday night in Newark to me. How about you? So listen, I mean, what a moment. Together, all of us, with these incredibly talented electeds, all the way up to the one and only Barack Obama. We're here to give a little Jersey energy, right? Yeah. So listen, we all know Mikie Sherrill has a perfect resume. I mean, a helicopter pilot, a prosecutor, a congresswoman, a daughter, a wife, and a mom of 4. I know one thing, Mikie takes no BS. She has courage, and boy, does she have a backbone. Interestingly, she also has a very strong moral compass. We could use that right now. So we need Mikie, who is going to fight for all of New Jersey, for our Jersey values and the Jersey people, all 9.5 million of us, no matter what your color, your creed, or your faith is. And we need Mikie to build on all that Phil has done over these last number of years and make New Jersey even stronger. Importantly, from me, I thank you for that. That was really sweet. We also need Mikie to fight against the bullies who are trying to harm all of us. And to that end, we need to get out there and get Mikie elected as our next governor, not only because we here in New Jersey need Mikie, but our entire country needs Mikie Sherrill. So get out there, make sure you vote, and make sure you show them a little bit of the Jersey attitude. And let's get this done.
Hey, when Tammy said Jersey attitude, I thought she was going to show us the state bird. Wow, it is so good to be in Newark. How cool is it to have Barack Obama back in Newark? Wow. Let's hear it from my wife of 31 years, the great First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy. Now, I came here to praise Mikie Sherrill, but it occurred to me backstage, somebody's going to take this guy on. We can't let him get away with this. Have you ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life? So this is the movie with the guy's really down on his luck. He's at the lowest point in his life, and his guardian angel shows up, grabs him by the hand, and walks him through a bunch of different chapters in his life. Except in these chapters, the guy doesn't exist. And he sees with his own eyes what would have happened if he had not been there. Well, I'm your guardian angel. And I'm going to tell you what New Jersey would look like if Jack Ciattarelli were governor. Yeah. First of all, he'd raise the sales tax to 10%. I'm not guessing. In the assembly, every time he had the chance to vote for taxes, he voted to increase taxes. We need a medic. Can you all hear me? We need some help for a first responder. We okay? Right over here, please. Let's go. Everybody give some space there, okay? One of you guys come out here, Chris. We good? We good? All right, let's hear it for our customer here. Big round of applause here, folks. Thank you, men. Kind of not surprising. I was starting to tell you what the state would look like if Jack were elected and somebody collapsed. Who could blame them? But listen, you'll get higher taxes. This guy didn't fund Superstorm Sandy victims. He didn't fund Planned Parenthood. He thought rapists should have parental rights. He voted for that. He claims he's close to President Trump. And when the Gateway project got frozen, we haven't heard a peep. That's 90,000 union jobs. And if you care about a one-seat ride, Jack just threw that out the window. And last night at midnight, 800,000 New Jerseyans started to go hungry because of what President Trump has done to SNAP. And we haven't heard a peep out of Jack. So if you're that close, man, you got to do something, and he's done nothing. Now the bad news is that's a nightmare. The good news is it's not yet reality. We can prevent what I just said from happening. You vote for today, tomorrow, or on Tuesday. We can bend history toward our dreams. We can elect Mikie Sherrill, and let me tell you what Mikie's world looks like. She'll make sure hungry kids are fed. She'll make sure the Gateway project and all those jobs get built. She'll fund Planned Parenthood. She'll throw rapists in jail. She won't raise our taxes. She'll be there when folks need her the most. And she will stand up to Donald Trump. Now listen, it gets better. Because just as I had the great late Sheila Oliver by my side, and I have the great Tahisha Way by my side today, Mikey will have a great partner you're going to hear from in a minute. Dale Caldwell will be her lieutenant governor. And Dale is a rock star in his own right. So, folks, let's get out there and get Mikie Sherrill and Dale Caldwell elected. And remember, one last thing, and don't you ever forget it. We're from Jersey, baby!
Oh, so nasty, so nasty. DJ Quad.
Thank you so much, everybody, and thanks to all the first responders spread not just in this room, but all over the state. At this point, we're going to keep the program rolling, and it is my great honor to introduce the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor. Please welcome Dr. Dale Caldwell.
New Jersey! Who is ready to elect Mikie Sherrill as the 57th governor of the great state of New Jersey? My name is Dr. Dale Caldwell. I've lived my life in service to students trying to find their way, to families trying to get ahead, small businesses struggling to survive, and to communities that deserve to be seen. I've served as a public school board member for more than 2 decades. Let's go educators. And as a pastor at Covenant United Methodist Church in Plainfield on Sundays, I remind people that they are loved, valued, and never alone. Because that's what leadership looks like, compassion with accountability. Now, the Constitution of these great United States begins with the words, "We the people." In this election, my friends, we are being challenged to defend those words, to defend not just our Constitution and our rights, but our friends, our family members, and our neighbors. Because make no mistake, the Trump administration and its allies have waged a relentless campaign to strip away the rights guaranteed to every single person in this country. They've attacked workers, veterans, teachers, students, women, immigrants, and small businesses, and anyone who dares to speak strength to power. That's why Mikie Sherrill and I are running for governor and lieutenant governor. We're doing it because we're fighting for all of us. Just as last week, we traveled to all 21 counties across New Jersey, and we're going to be doing that until Election Day. It is amazing to see extraordinary people around this state. We've been listening to people who are struggling to live, work, and raise families. We've met small business owners drowning in red tape in Trenton, union workers whose jobs are under attack, as you heard from the governor, and families who no longer feel safe in their neighborhoods. Yet our opponent, Jack, continues to support Donald Trump and his abuses 100%. Make no mistake, a Sherrill administration will never, ever stand up for us. So the stakes in this election have never been higher. But the good news, and really the great news, is that we're seeing incredible enthusiasm from people across the state of New Jersey. We have an amazing group of Democratic candidates stepping up to serve the people of New Jersey. And from the thousands of people I met at a No Kings rally in a county that once supported Trump, but now shouts for change. Now, you see, I know what powerful movements look like. I'm a pastor, a college president, and a lifelong community volunteer, but most importantly, I'm a father. My daughter Ashley, who's here tonight, is my greatest inspiration. Let's give Ashley a round of applause. And like many of you parents with Mikie and I, everything I do is for her future, just like my parents did for me. My father marched arm in arm with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma and at the March on Washington. He passed away in 2020, but his spirit is with me and Mikie as we fight for New Jersey. But that same spirit of faith and justice still burns within me. And really that's what's driving Mikie and I to fight for the next generation. Like so many parents, I want Ashley to have what every New Jersey family deserves. A home she can afford, a community she feels safe in, and an economy that gives her a fair shot at success. That's why Mikie and I are laser focused on lowering costs and building opportunity. We'll make homes affordable again by expanding first-time homebuyer assistance. We'll crack down on predatory lenders and landlords who illegally jack up rents. We'll invest in small businesses, especially in black and brown-owned firms that have been left behind for too long. Right now, minority-owned businesses make up nearly a quarter of New Jersey's economy, but receive just 4% of state contracts. That's unacceptable, and Mikie and I are going to change that. And as an educator and university president, I've seen the power of education to transform lives. That's why we're the only ticket committed to fully funding our public schools. By doing that, we ensure that every child from Newark to Camden, Plainfield to Atlantic City can access the world-class education that they deserve. That's how we build a fairer and more affordable New Jersey. So because, my friends, this race is really about more than Mikie and me. This race is existential for us and for our communities, and Jack is part of the problem. He just doesn't get it. That's why folks need to get out and vote. And we need to vote for a leader who understands the pain that people are going through. Mikie is that leader, and I've seen it up close. Together, we're not the same old, same old. We are here to make a difference, and we have a very different type of background that will help us deliver. I remember when Mikie asked me to run, it was because of my background, and many of you have heard me joke that it was because I'm old and I've done a lot of things. But together, Mikie and I will always have your back, and we'll never stop fighting for you. We're different, because for us, service isn't just a slogan, it's who we are. As you know, Mikie's career has been about her service to her country and state. And that commitment won't stop once she's elected as your governor. And it's important to know that because when Mikie wins, your family wins. When Mikie wins, your community wins. When Mikie wins, unions win. When Mikie wins, small businesses win. When Mikie wins, the environment wins. But to make that happen, we need each and every one of you. We need you to vote like the future depends on it, because it does. We need you to bring your spouse, your kids, your neighbors, your coworkers, everyone to the polls. Because this right now is our moment to take our country back. This is our moment to live out the promise of we the people. So as we prepare to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America and the great state of New Jersey, let's make history again. Let's vote for Mikie Sherrill. Let's fight for we the people. And together, let's take this country back and send a message to Trump that he has no influence in New Jersey. Thank you all. God bless you. Let's get out and vote.
New Jersey, please welcome your Democratic nominee and our next governor, Mikie Sherrill!
To welcome President Obama to the state. That I have always thought of as the gateway to America. New Jersey is like no other place in the world. We are the most diverse, densely populated state in the nation. And despite that, or maybe because of it, we care about each other and our kids. We have each other's backs. And from the earliest days, we have never shied away from a tough fight. We are waging a battle at this very moment for the future of our nation. And New Jersey has always answered the call to defend this country and our values. We were the arsenal of democracy in World War I. And then when soldiers came home from World War II and demanded more, we passed the nation's very first state civil rights law in 1945. And guess what, New Jersey? It passed unanimously. So we built this nation in the Industrial Revolution, and we have not stopped innovating since. And at this moment, in these difficult times, when everything seems to come down to our election, when people across the nation look at me with fear and despair in their eyes when they ask me, is New Jersey up for this moment? You guys just stole my line. My answer was, hell yeah! I mean, there are a lot of things people say about us. Do you guys know this? You know, I go down to Washington, I'm on Capitol Hill with people from all over the country, and they say things like, we're loud. My roommate down in Congress gave me a T-shirt. I love you back. I love you back. She gave me a T-shirt that said, I'm not yelling at you. I'm from New Jersey. They say we don't have patience. Okay, I'm going to take that hit because in this town, I have actually been honked at a red light because people thought it was about to turn green. They make fun of us because we don't pump our own gas. They hate us because they ain't us. But I will tell you something. No one has ever said that we aren't brave or that we shrink from a challenge. And we have never, ever backed down when it comes to making a better future for our families and our kids. And I've got 4 kids. And you know what? Our kids have been through a lot. We've seen some of their milestones robbed by the pandemic. And now they're facing an onslaught of social media that can further isolate them. So I'm going to pass the Kids Online Safety Agenda because as Trump tries to steal opportunity, success, and a great future from our kids, all I can say is, not on my watch, New Jersey. So as we arrive here today, just days away from an election that will define the very future of this great nation, I've been asked again and again, what is this about? What does this race boil down to? Everything. And after hearing from thousands and thousands of New Jerseyans, I can tell you it comes down to opportunity. Who has a seat at the table? And in New Jersey, we believe it doesn't matter who your parents are, it doesn't matter where you were born, you should get a shot. And so in this election, we are deciding, do we continue to expand access to opportunity? Do we make sure every kid gets a good education? That workers make a good wage? That our economy provides good jobs? Then you can work at one job and make a living for your family and then retire? New Jersey, I don't just want you to have a job, I want you to have a retirement. And so what I hear about from families all over this state reminds me of my own background. My grandfather's family lost everything in the Great Depression. After the war, he got a good union job with the UAW. That job lifted my mom's family out of poverty squarely into the middle class. And then there was my dad, orphaned by the time he was 13. But he was able to work hard and put himself through college, and he wasn't saddled with debt for 30 years. And then me. You know, when I told my dad, hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. I love you too, Mom. When I told my dad in the 5th grade I wanted to fly in the Navy like my grandfather, he told me he didn't know if the Naval Academy took women. And he didn't know if women could fly in the Navy. But I knew I could do it. I knew. I didn't think I could. I didn't hope I could. I knew I could. Because everything I had learned about this country, from my parents to my teachers to Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday morning cartoons, told me that in this country, we were opening up opportunity to everyone. And we were. We passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, decided Roe versus Wade. And so I attended the Naval Academy, and I graduated with the first class of women eligible for combat on ships and aircraft. And you heard from Dr. Dale Caldwell and how his dad marched with Dr. Martin Luther King and fought for civil rights to give all of our kids better opportunities.
You heard how his dad's example led Dale to work in education, to continue that promise of opportunity, and how hard he works for his daughter. And at every level, in every generation, this country has offered opportunities that could not have been found anywhere else in the world. And I'm looking out at thousands of you. Sure, every single person here has a similar story. Whether it was someone in your family who got an opportunity or an opportunity that wasn't available to your parents but was to you. And that promise of opportunity is so iconic that it is known the world over as the American dream. And as President Obama himself said, the American dream, that's right. The American dream isn't the promise of a perfect life, but at its best, it's the promise that you get a real and honest shot to get ahead. So when people ask me, Mikie, why are you running for governor? That's why. I want you to be able to afford to live in New Jersey and build something. I want all your kids to have great opportunities. I want to make sure everyone here has a shot in this state. So I'm fighting. I'm fighting for Chuck, a small business owner in Gloucester, getting crushed by tariffs. I'm fighting for Karina, a single mom here in Newark, who isn't sure if she can afford to stay and raise her son in New Jersey. I'm fighting for Bob, a lot of us. I'm fighting for Bob, a veteran, and Kate May, who's worried about his data privacy. I'm fighting for Regina in Trenton, who lost her son Trayvon to gun violence. And I'm fighting for Sequoia in Jersey City, who pays 70% of her income in rent and can't get ahead. That's why I'm going to work every day as your governor to make sure you can afford to stay right here in New Jersey. So here's what I'll do. On day one, I'm declaring a state of emergency on utility hikes. I'll freeze those rate hikes to lower your family's bills. New Jersey, I am not playing. I am not writing a strongly worded letter. I am not starting up a working group. I'm not doing a 10-year study. I am declaring a state of emergency. But it's not just utility costs. I also hear all across the state from New Jerseyans who tell me they can't afford to live and anywhere to live and about skyrocketing rental prices. I'm taking on those landlords who are colluding to drive up your rents, and I'll expand first-time homebuyer assistance to get you in that first home. Get your foot in the door so you can have a shot. And I hear from too many families every year, Mikie, you know I'm making choices. How much can I buy at the grocery store versus whether or not I can afford my prescriptions? So I'm taking on those pharmaceutical middlemen who are driving up your prescription drug costs. So as governor, I'm going to create real change so you can afford to stay here in this state, but my fight doesn't and can't end at the border of New Jersey. We've got to take on all those hits coming from Trump and Washington, D.C. Because right now, the president is running a worldwide extortion racket. You pay more for everything from the coffee you drink in the morning to the groceries you're cooking dinner with at night as Trump pockets billions. His energy plan is designed for just one audience, the fossil fuel industry. They donated hundreds of millions to his campaign, and they're now getting rich off the higher utility prices that New Jersey families are being forced to pay because of the one big, beautiful betrayal. Under Trump, the deficit has got up $1 trillion in 2 months. And we can't feed hungry kids in the richest nation on earth. We can't feed hungry children. Not on my watch. So if he's not going to fund these programs, and make no mistake, in New Jersey, we send $70 billion more to Washington than we get back. We're going to claw that money back and do it ourselves. And then there's the Gateway Tunnel. Has anybody heard of that? So I was called the tunnel-obsessed Congresswoman when I first got into Congress because I worked so hard to get that project funded. I was told it would never get done. But we got that federal funding, and then we went farther and got more funding across the state for our transit programs. And Donald Trump, because he's pissed off that everybody's rightly blaming him for the government shutdown, has frozen the Gateway Tunnel. I mention all this because whether it's Medicaid, the one big beautiful betrayal, or the Gateway Tunnel, guess what? Jack Ciattarelli is nowhere to be found. And when he is forced to talk about it, does he defend New Jersey? Does he commit to clawing that money back for New Jersey? Does he say, hey, I'm serving you no matter what the cost? No. On every single occasion, Jack has decided, I'm going to defend Trump. He even gives Trump an A. Guess what, guys? I give Trump an F. I'm committed to fighting anyone when it comes to fighting for the people of New Jersey. So there were two people who really embodied this fight, Donald Payne Jr. and Bill Pascrell. They passed away not too long ago. I served with both of them. And at Bill's funeral, the priest reminded us that hope has two beautiful daughters, anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and the courage to fight for change. And I'm angry. I'm angry at the way things are. I'm angry that our president is cutting everything from the Gateway Tunnel funds to SNAP benefits, erasing funds for programs to help third graders read, address learning loss, or get support for families as we are facing a mental health crisis with our kids. So I'm angry, but I don't feel afraid. As I stand here, I feel nothing but courage. New Jerseyans give me courage, and I'm sure the nation feels that way too. Courage to make change, to take on special interests, the status quo, the systems that aren't working, to deliver for people, for families, to give every kid a shot. So, anger and courage are the daughters of hope. And I know someone here tonight who knows a little bit about hope. He knows hope is not passive, blind optimism, but an active, stubborn belief that a better future is possible if we work hard and fight for it. So, New Jersey, are you ready to work? Are you ready to fight hard for our future? you ready to make sure that every single one of your neighbors, your friends, your frenemies head to the polls between now and Tuesday? That's what I thought. Nope, that's what I knew. Because I know the fight that defines our state. And New Jersey, I'm ready too. So, would you help me give a very loud New Jersey welcome to the 44th President of the United States of America?
Yo, Jersey, what's up? How's it going, Newark? Yeah. I am fired up. Oh, I am fired up. I am ready to go. It is good to be back in Jersey. Good to be back. I love you back. I love you. Oh, that's a good-looking crowd right here. It is good to be back. It is good to be back in Jersey. Good to be back in Newark. You know, I just came from a rally down in Virginia. They were kind of loud, but they definitely got some competition right here. Mikie Sherrill will get you excited. That's what happens. You also may be a little hopped up on that Halloween candy. I love you back. But you have a candidate worth being excited about. You've got a future governor to be excited about in Mikie Sherrill. Now, first things first, we got to handle some logistics here. Just in case you have not heard, if you have not voted yet, tomorrow is the last day of early voting in New Jersey. And if you can't vote early, you've got to make a plan to do it on Election Day, November 4th. You can go to nj.gov/vote to find out where, if you don't know. And then you've got to get all your friends and your family and that cousin who's lying on the couch. Greg, just go, come on. Get him off the couch. Because in 3 days, we've got the chance to elect a leader who's going to help build a better, stronger, brighter future for New Jersey. And Lord knows we need that light. We need that inspiration because, let's face it, our country and our politics are in a pretty dark place right now. So it is. It is. No, don't worry. It's hard to know where to start.
Because every day this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and carelessness and mean-spiritedness and just plain old craziness. We've got a president who thinks it's okay to use the Justice Department, just for example, to use the Justice Department to go after his political opponents. And wait. Here's a rule. You can't boo. You got to vote. They won't hear you if you're booing, but they'll hear your vote. So you've got a president who replaces career prosecutors with loyalists who will do his bidding, and now he's telling them to hand over millions of taxpayer dollars that he had to pay in expenses for previously violating the law. We've got a commander-in-chief who has fired decorated military officers because he thinks they might be more loyal to the Constitution than they are to him. Don't boo. He's deployed the National Guard in American cities and claimed to be stopping crime waves that don't actually exist. We got masked ICE agents pulling in unmarked vans and grabbing people off the streets, including U.S. citizens. Don't boo. Vote. Grabbing them on the suspicion that they don't look like real Americans. We've got Health and Human Services Secretary who opposes proven science and then peddles quack medicine. We've got a top White House aide who calls Democrats, the whole Democratic Party, domestic extremists. And then we've got some poor labor economist who got fired for accurately reporting bad job numbers that Trump didn't like. It's like every day is Halloween, except it's all tricks and no treats. And here's the thing, New Jersey. It's not as if we did not see some of this coming. I mean, I'll admit, it's worse than even I expected, but I did warn y'all. I did. And you know what? Donald Trump warned you too. He told you what he was like and how he was going to act. But the fact is, the truth is, right here in New Jersey and all across the country, there were plenty of people who voted for Trump and the Republicans anyway, not because they wanted to give up their rights of free speech or because they wanted to see our public health systems torn down, but because they were understandably frustrated with inflation and high gas prices and the difficulty of affording a home, and they were worried about their children's futures. Now, 9 months later, you got to ask yourself, has any of that gotten better? Is the economy working better for you? Because it sure has gotten better for Trump and his family. Since he's been in office, the family crypto business and other ventures have made hundreds of millions of dollars and getting investment from foreign nationals and rich folks looking to stay in the president's good graces. The economy has been really good for some of Trump's billionaire friends. And it's been good for some finance bros and well-connected corporations who've seen their tax bill go down and don't have to worry about all those pesky regulators anymore. But for ordinary families, for you, your neighbors, your friends. Costs have not gone down, they've gone up. Partly because of Trump's shambolic tariff policy. Young people, they're not having an easier time. Young people trying to get a start in life are having a tougher time than ever finding a job. Entry-level hiring is down 16% from last year. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have lost their jobs to pay for those billionaire tax cuts. We're talking about people who dedicated their lives to public service and helped make this country work. Meanwhile, the government is shut down, which means small business loans are suspended and help for vulnerable people is delayed. Healthcare premiums for millions of people are about to double or even triple next year. And the Republicans who are running Congress right now, they're not even pretending to try to solve the problem. They're not even going to work. They haven't been in session. They're not showing up. And as for the president, I mean, in fairness, he has been focused on some critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes, and building a $300 million ballroom. Do not boo. Do not boo. Boo. And anyway, I don't know why y'all complaining. If you can't afford to visit a doctor, don't worry. He'll save you a dance. And if you don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig, you can always watch the festivities on Trump's live feed on Truth Social. Look, the point is, there is absolutely no evidence that Republican policies have made life better for the people in New Jersey. They've devoted enormous energy to entrenching themselves in power, punishing their enemies, enriching their friends, silencing their critics. They put on a big show of deporting people and targeting transgender folks. They never miss a chance to scapegoat minorities and blame DEI for every problem under the sun. You got a flat tire? Must be DEI. Your wife kicked you out? DEI. Who knew? But what they haven't done is help you. They haven't put forward serious proposals to lower housing costs or make groceries more affordable. They haven't improved our schools or made health care more accessible or shortened your commute or prepared young people for a future where AI might take their jobs. All the nonsense that we see on the news every day, the over-the-top rhetoric, the fabricated conspiracies, the weird videos of a U.S. president with a crown on his head flying a fighter jet and dumping poop on American citizens. Don't boo. No. Wait. That's not even worth booing about, because all of that is a distraction. All of it is designed to distract you from the fact that your situation, your life, has not gotten better. They do it so you won't notice that at the same time that they're helping the wealthiest, most powerful people in the country consolidate more wealth and more power, your bills are still going up. You're waiting longer at airports because there aren't enough air traffic controllers. The program that helps your kid with special needs just got gutted. They are hoping you don't notice that. But the good news is there is something you can do about it, New Jersey. Right here. Right now. Because you've got a candidate for governor who's a proven fighter, who's got a track record of getting stuff done. Somebody who sees you and knows your struggles and will work for you every single day. New Jersey, it's time to point America in a better direction by electing Mikie Sherrill as your next governor. Now, you know, I've met a lot of tough people in my life. I was watching Mikie backstage, and there were some people from the security detail for all kinds of folks. You could see they'd been in the weight room. You know, suit was all just, I don't know how they got in that suit. It's not a problem I have. My guns slip in there pretty easily. I've met a lot of tough people in my life. I don't know many people. We need a medic here. They'll be coming. Give him or her a little space. Probably just a little dehydrated. Everybody bend your knees. Bend your knees. Yeah. You can't stand still and not have any water. All right, we got some medics coming. Oh, I love you, but hold on. I heard you, girl. Just settle down. I'm here to talk to everybody, not just you. I mean, you look cute, but I am married. Michelle's fine, too. I think a medic is coming. So, listen, I don't know many people who started their careers as a Navy helicopter pilot, then went to law school, then became a federal prosecutor, keeping communities safe, and she's doing this while raising 4 kids. And then because apparently that was a little bit too easy, she decides to run for Congress. I get tired just thinking about it. But I do know that it makes her the kind of leader who understands the mission, who knows who she is supposed to serve, who doesn't have a lot of time for excuses. And that is exactly what New Jersey needs right now. Mikie doesn't just say the right thing. As your governor, she will do the right thing. She understands that government can make a difference in people's lives by educating our kids for the jobs of the future, keeping our air and water clean, protecting consumers from fraud and dangerous products, providing a safety net for seniors and folks with disabilities, investing in the infrastructure and scientific research that drives economic growth. She knows what government can do, but she also knows that good intentions alone are not enough, that we can't afford to waste taxpayer dollars on programs that don't work, and that instead of simply tearing down government, it's her job to make it work better for you. Mikey talk about bringing costs down for working families. Remember how Donald Trump declared a quote-unquote state of emergency so he could put tariffs in place that are now driving up costs for you? A tax on every family in America. On her first day as governor, Mikey will declare a state of emergency to bring costs down, starting with utilities. She's going to create more energy right here in New Jersey because more supply means lower bills. She's going to take on the state's grid operator to stop them from driving up costs. That will affect your pocketbook in a good way. As a mom of 4 kids, Mikey knows what parents see every day. So she's got plans to put more physical and mental health resources in schools. She's going to make tech companies do more to keep kids safe online. She'll invest in high-impact tutoring to get kids who are struggling back on track. And she's going to make sure you can see exactly where your tax dollars are going and whether the programs you are helping to fund actually do what they're supposed to do. Mikey will work with anyone if it helps the people in New Jersey. And she will listen to everyone, too, whether they voted for her or not. Because she knows that if we want to make progress on the things we care about, we have to be able to disagree without calling each other nasty names or demonizing each other. At a time when our politics feels just so broken, we need leaders like Mikey, public servants who are in it for the right reason, who are focused on the future, and who will always stay connected to the people that they were elected to serve. Now, her opponent, not so much. Mikey's opponent has now run for governor 3 times in a row. I mean, I believe in persistence, but at a certain point. So 3 times in a row. Other 2 times he lost. So this time his strategy is to suck up to the Republicans in Washington. So Donald Trump called Mikey's opponent 100% MAGA. Not a great endorsement. When he was asked to give the Trump administration a grade, Mikey's opponent said they deserved an A. Don't boo. I mean, I know there's been great inflation, but really, an A. This is the best we could do. These are the same folks who put secret war plans in a group chat. You don't think there's anything they could be doing better? No room for improvement? Jersey, we don't need a governor who puts party and ideology ahead of the people that elected that governor. You deserve a governor who's going to think for herself and work for you. A governor who will create jobs and not cut them. A governor who will lower costs and not raise them. A governor who will bring people together and not divide them. A governor who will do right for the people of New Jersey no matter what anybody in Washington thinks. You deserve a governor like Mikie Sherrill. I'm going to bring it down a little bit here. Just for a second. Hold on a second. I hear you, but I want to kind of wrap up with something that I want everybody to think about. At the end of the day, what this election is about, what politics in a democracy is always about, is values. What do we care about? What do we believe? What do we prioritize? What are our core convictions? You know, a lot of people have asked me lately whether I am surprised at the direction the country is taking. And even though I'm the hope and change guy, I want to be honest with them. And so I admit to them that I have cause for deep concern. I admit to them that I'm worried about how quickly basic democratic rules and norms have been weakened. I'm worried about how willing Republicans in Congress have been to abdicate their role as members of a co-equal branch of government, and how they refuse to buck the president even when they know he's out of line. Even when a lot of them privately admit that power is being abused in ways that will hurt their constituents, that will hurt the country. I worry about a Supreme Court that so far at least has shown no willingness to check this administration's excesses. Even when those actions break all legal precedent and seem to defy the bedrock principle that no one's above the law. I worry about the growing concentration of economic power in the country, with just a handful of mega billionaires and companies controlling what we see and what we hear. And I worry about how much that economic power distorts our political process. I worry about how readily, not just business leaders, but others with influence in law firms and universities, have been willing to bend the knee to this president's autocratic impulses to avoid retribution or protect profits or just to avoid controversy. But what I also tell people who ask, what I remind them, is that this contest of ideas, it's not new. America's always had competing stories about who we are and what this nation stands for. The first story says, we the people mean just some of us. That in order to qualify, you got to be the right color, you've got to come from the right family, you've got to worship the right way. It says that even though we got rid of a king, that was the whole point of the revolution, there's still a caste system in America. A pecking order of who makes decisions and who obeys, who gets opportunity and who is obliged to serve. And that story is policed by fear and by force. And it tries to convince people that for their group to win, another group's got to lose. It tries to convince people that if somebody doesn't look like you or doesn't think like you or practice religion exactly the way you do, they must be a threat to your way of life and need to be put in their place. That's how Donald Trump thinks about America. That's what make America great again means. Putting people like him back in charge even when they don't know what the hell they're doing. Now, so that's one story, and that story's been part of America. You can pretend it hasn't been, but you can get rid of, you can try to whitewash school books and go to national parks and say let's get rid of that and that sign that says Native Americans used to live here. You can do all that, but that story has always been part of America. And that story isn't even new. It isn't even uniquely American. For most of human history, it's the way society worked. There was a hierarchy, and there were lords, and then there were peasants, and some people had everything, and some people had nothing. There are all kinds of countries that still operate that way. And for a long time, that story of caste and privilege and concentrated power was the law of the land in America. For decades. If you looked like me, you were property. For decades, if you were a woman or a white man who did not own property, you couldn't vote. For decades, if you were an Irishman or an Italian immigrant and you tried to apply for a job, we're not hiring. For decades, if you were Jewish or Asian, don't bother applying to this school. If you were Native American, they didn't even talk about you, even though you were here first. So, but here's the thing, New Jersey. From the very start, there was another story. Born of this nation's true revolutionary spirit. And that story says, we the people, means what it says, that all of us are included. That we are not subjects, we are citizens. Defined not by race or religion or gender or sexual orientation, but by our commitment to a common creed and a willingness to accept not just the privileges, but responsibilities that come with citizenship. That's what made the American experiment unique. Not just the size of our economy, not just our military might. It was that idea that you could get people from every corner of the globe, and they could come here and decide, you know, I pledge allegiance to this flag. I will defend this country. I will make a life for myself here, and we could all get along. That's what made America special. And through generations of struggle and sacrifice, through the faith of abolitionists, the struggle of suffragists, through a civil war and civil rights protests, through union organizing drives, through government reform initiatives, through investment in public education, year by year, decade by decade, we move closer to those founding ideals, and in the process, we inspired the world. That's the story I believe in, New Jersey. An America in which we all deserve equal protection under the law, and no one's above it. An America where every child has a chance at a good education, and anybody who's willing to work and find a job or start a business and make a decent living. An America where we don't fear each other, but we look out for one another. And we find ways to work together. And if we want that story to continue, then we need leaders who believe in it too. Leaders who will tell the truth and take responsibility. Leaders who will tackle hard problems and bring people together instead of dividing them. Leaders who won't serve big bosses in Washington or big corporate donors, but instead will serve the people who put them there. New Jersey, we need leaders like Mikie Sherrill. yes, I am still hopeful. Yes, I still believe our best days are ahead of us. But here's the thing, New Jersey, even somebody as tough and talented as Mikie can't make it happen alone. Because all of us are being tested right now. Our convictions are being tested. Donald Trump and the Republicans, they want you to think that change can only come from on high. That a few people in power make decisions. The rest of us just have to live with the consequences. But when you look at the history of America, real change has always come from the bottom up. From ordinary folks who believe we can do better and join together to make change happen. So it's up to all of us as citizens to stand up for the values that we profess. If we want a country that believes in free speech and fair elections and rule of law, then we can't just leave it to somebody else. We have to fight for those things, even when it's hard. If we're opposed to violence against people we disagree with or look a certain way, then we have to speak out when those values are violated. If we believe in honesty and hard work and treating other people the way we want to be treated, we have to model it in our own lives, in our workplaces, in our schools, in our neighborhoods, in our places of worship. And if we want a government that is responsive and honest and competent, that works for the many and not just the few, then we've got to get out there and vote for it. New Jersey, I remember just a year ago, I remember talking to folks who would tell me, this election doesn't matter. These are some well-educated, bright, people. They say, whoever the next president ends up being, it's not going to affect me. That's what they would say. If nothing else, the last 9 months should have cured us of that idea. Because the stakes are now clear. We don't need to speculate about the dangers to our democracy. They're here. We don't need to wonder if harm's going to be done to vulnerable people, or whether the public conversation will become meaner and coarser. We're witnessing it. Elections matter. And they matter to you. And they matter to your family. We are being tested, and what is remarkable about America is that it gives us the power as citizens to change this country. We all have more power than we sometimes imagine. We just got to use it. So if you believe in that better story of America, you cannot sit this one out. As citizens, you have to vote for leaders like Mikie who believe in that story too. Leaders who care about your freedom. Leaders who will fight for your rights. Leaders who will go work every day to make your life a little bit better. Go get your friends. Grab your family members. Tell them to go out and vote. Because if you do that, New Jersey, if you meet this moment, if you believe change can happen, you will not just elect Mikie Sherrill, your next governor. You will not just put New Jersey on a path to a brighter future. You will set a glorious example for this nation. Let's get to work. Thank you, Newark. God bless you. God bless you, man.